Hello everyone and welcome to the second day of the second New Eden Open. I'm here joined with CCP Fozzie and CCP Dolan. We're going to be your group of people commentating on these matches for the first 4 matches, I believe.
Yep. We'll be switching every 4. Yeah.
Yes, so then we're going to switch out one of you for CCP Rise. So the second day, we saw a lot of good stuff for the first day. Now, what are we going to see today?
We're going to see some really great matches today. For the first half of today, we are going to be beautiful. We are going to be seeing all winners bracket matches. So the entire first half before the break will be teams that won yesterday. So these are a lot of the best teams in the tournament. We're going to see some really very high-level matchups. Exodus versus German Ski Lesson, Cobalt Inside, the Hun guys versus PL, Rampage versus Reputation Cartel. These are 2 really strong teams coming up against each other in all these matches. And then in the second half, we're going to be going to the elimination brackets.
You missed that you're the mayor of Toronto.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, that's...
Wow, the guys in the back must be having a blast on
They're
this
just they're just typing up a storm.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about some serious stuff in front here. Some of these matches are all-star final-style matches. These are some people that all could make it to the finals that we have early on, but half of these people are going to be dropping down the losers bracket, and then after the break, we're going to see 8 teams go home.
Yep, we are going to be losing 8 teams.
It's going to be a sad day.
Yeah, that's really rough for those 8 people. Like, you're signed up for 3 weekends of stuff. Suddenly you have 2 free weekends to, I don't know, go to the beach, find the love of your life. You could do anything.
Yes,
crawl into the fetal position and cry.
Yep.
All perfectly good options.
But yeah, so we had a lot of awesome matches yesterday, particularly the 8-cast match where they went into overtime and sped up time to 5 times the speed of normal.
It was our first time ever using the newly introduced as of last Alliance tournament tiebreaker system. For anyone that's not familiar with it, what happens when teams get to the end of regulation time with the same number of points each, we start speeding up time. We'll actually just accelerate time and make the match go faster and faster and faster, which means that any little mistake that the teams make will cause them to fall apart. And then if time actually gets all the way to the end of that, which it really never should, then we'll just judge it based on who had the most DPS at the beginning.
I believe CCP Veritas made it so that you're actually playing 20 extra minutes in 5 minutes.
Yeah, at the end of it, it's actually 7 times speed, which is incredibly hard to do. We've ran some exhibition matches where we tested the system out, and I know that the pilots that were involved in that had a blast because EVE at that speed is incredibly taxing on your skills.
Yeah, manually piloting in that, as soon as you double click somewhere, you're out of there. You're gone. If you're in a frig with the microwarp drive on, it's just like, whoop, you're gone. So we're going to see the schedule here in a little bit and going to jump over. Our first match is Incursion Shiny Network versus Parental Advisory. That's coming up in just a few minutes here. We have the bans for that match, actually. So while people at home get acquainted with the order of matches for today, let's go over the bans for the first match. You have them with you there, Flossie?
I do indeed. So the bans for ISN versus Parental Advisory. ISN has banned the Sleipnir and the Dominix.
Yeah.
Parental Advisory has banned the Scimitar and the Legion. So
now, why would they ban a Legion?
We were trying to figure that out before we started off the stream today, and we're actually not sure.
Well, there are some classic Legion teams. They may have just practiced their setup against a Legion setup and just lost every time. They really don't know why or how to fix it, so they're just, we'll
it is very possible. I mean,
this might be a target ban as well. Maybe they have spies.
Yeah, they know that ISN is liking to use them. Legions have never been a really huge part of the tournament. Amar in total has been a bit underrepresented in the tournament in recent years, but there's been a couple of Legion setups that can work really well. We've seen some laser Legion teams, and then there's also a Legion fit with hams and newts that's actually pretty effective in the tournament as well. So it could be that they're worried about neuting, but in that case, I'd pick the Geddon or the Balgorn perhaps over these, or the Curse.
Well, it's how good are Legions in Incursions?
For these smaller ones, I think they're probably pretty fine. So ISN, I don't know. I think they're shield incursion runners though, so maybe they're not going to be used to it.
There might be one thing though. We saw a couple of really kind of brick tanked MR teams yesterday do really well. Maybe this is just maybe there's a Legion team that revolves around doing a similar thing that we don't know about that hasn't been practiced.
So the thing is, aside from a few very specific Amar ships, the Curse, things like that, it's very hard to ban out Amar styles because Amar has so much depth and similarity between a lot of their ship classes.
Usually Legions can be swapped out for Absolutions, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. So it becomes a difficult style to ban. Like they're going to bring lasers and they're going to be really tanky. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it is going to be tough to kind of block that strategy. The other 3 bans though are all pretty standard bans. They're the kind of ones we've been seeing quite often. Dominix is obviously one of the most banned ships. It was extremely popular in the last Alliance tournament.
Yeah.
The Sleipnir and the Scimitar are also very typical bans.
Yep. So out of all these matches for today, what is your favorite match? What are you looking forward to the most?
It's a tough one, but probably the Kolbaz Inside versus Agmar Money team. Kolbaz Inside represents a lot of the key pilots from the Hun Reloaded Alliance tournament teams, and the Agmar Money team has a lot of the key pilots from the Pandemic Legion Alliance tournament teams. So in a lot of ways, this is a rematch of the semifinals from 2 years ago at Alliance Tournament 10, when Hun Reloaded beat Pandemic Legion to go on to the finals.
Yeah, we're seeing their 2 powerhouses just getting just clashing early in the tournament. They're both in the winners bracket, so even if they lose this one, they can still make it back, like Pandemic Legion did with spectacular fashion in Alliance Tournament 11, where they got dropped into the losers bracket, won their way up, and after going 2 games down against Hydra, won 3 in a row. It was
an incredible series. Yeah. And I would really hate to be the team that has to go up against either Kolbaz Inside or Agmar Money team in the losers bracket next weekend. That is not going to be a good draw at all.
I'm really excited to see Asin Hatama's team versus We Hurt. So We Hurt able to take down Team Footwork yesterday. You're a big fan of the Team We Hurt hype train. I think that the hype train's going to get derailed here. Lightning doesn't strike twice. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble against Asin Hatama's team. A lot of that sort of small gang experience, being with Godfathers, and then also just tremendous amount of tournament experience on that team as well.
Yeah. I mean, they've definitely proved themselves to be a really, really, really strong tournament team, and especially in the New Eden Open, they've just performed spectacularly. So it's going to be really interesting, and for me, that's one of the matches that I'm looking forward to the most as well. I want to see if so for me, it's also, even if We Hurt wins, Asin Hatama's team, like let's say We Hurt wins, the losers bracket is going to contain either Hun Reloaded or Pandemic Legion. It's going to contain Team Footwork, and it's going to contain like Asin Hatama's team.
It's going to contain also like either Exodus or German Ski Lessons, and either Rampage or Reputation Cartel.
Yep. So like essentially, if you go into the losers bracket, you're not gonna, even if you're a strong team, you're not gonna have an easy time kind of tearing through it, tearing through the lower tier teams or whatever you want to call it. You're just gonna face like really, really hard opposition anywhere.
It's absolutely true, but that's what you want to see in the winners bracket. You always want to see the absolute best of the best competing. But there actually are some real good stories here in the losers bracket as well. But you're going to have to wait a little bit for those. We have matches here like We Can't Afford This versus Last Huzzah. Team Cube makes his reappearance.
Versus Epic
Cube.
Fins. Yeah.
Now we're going to have 2 compositions that will henceforth be known as the Cube.
Yeah.
The Cube Mark 1 and the Cube Mark 2.
No, it's the Cube and the Cube squared.
The Cube squared. All right. I like
Hypercube.
that.
Hypercube.
So
Cube 2, Hypercube.
Our match is ready. Let's get the predictions for this match, CSP Fozzie.
I was really impressed with Incursion Shiny Network yesterday. They surprised me with how good they performed, and I think they're going to take this match as well.
I have Incursion Shiny Network circled on my paper, but just to be contradictory, I'm going to go with Parental Advisory.
Well, historically, we've been wrong. I've been wrong when we disagree. So I'm going to go with Incursion Shiny Network and hopefully break that curse.